So I wanted to talk about some rumors that are currently circulating around the internet right now, and the rumors are about the PS5. When is the PS5 coming out? Is it ever coming out? Are we getting it soon? What are the specs? Everything about the PS5. And look, I actually want to talk about the PlayStation 5 for a second here, guys. Why do I want to talk about the PlayStation 5? Because, well, I keep seeing all these rumors pop up, and they're not hiding from me. They're actually popping out everywhere. The more you look around for gaming news, the more you look around the internet with people are talking about the PS5. But is the PS5 years away, or is it coming in the next couple of years? Well, if you look at it right now, PlayStation did just release a new console, the PlayStation 4 Pro. Technically, it's not a new console because it still runs the same UI as the PS4 and the PS4 Slim. It does have better graphics, so it does play games in upscaled 1440p or 4K. Is it true 4K or true 1440p? No, not really. Most games are just upscaled. And now with the Xbox, Microsoft bringing out the Xbox One X coming out this year in November, they're saying it's the most powerful console ever made possible. Is that true? Yes, it is true. We can't confirm that, but even with that, our game's going to be playing in 4K, true native 4K. They keep saying a lot of games are going to play in native 4K, but if you go to the Digital Foundry, now if you don't know what Digital Foundry is the best place when it comes to the technical aspects of games. So maybe you never heard of them or whatnot, but that is the best place to go if you want to know the technical side of gaming, whether they be PC gaming, whether that even be handheld gaming or console gaming. They are the people to go to when it comes to technical aspects of games. And they're finding out a lot of games on the Xbox One X are just checkerboarding upscaled to 4K. So a lot of games aren't playing in native 4K. Now, Microsoft has claimed one game that's going to be in true 4K on the Xbox One X. That's going to be Forza Motorsport 7. I think we have a 6 right now. I'm pretty sure Forza Horizon, not Horizon, excuse me. I want to apologize, guys. Forza Motorsport 7. I keep getting them mixed up. Again, Forza Motorsport 7. I want to make that clear to you guys. They keep claiming that game's going to be in native 4K, so true 4K. Am I saying a lot of games on that are going to be not in native 4K? It is possible a lot of titles on that, or whether they be new titles or whether they be old titles, will be playing in native 4K. But if you look at PC gaming right now, there's a lot of GPUs that can't even play in true native 4K. For instance, even 1060s and 1070 graphics cards can't even barely play games in 4K, and let alone 60 frames per second. Even with this current generation, the standard Xbox One and the regular PS4 or PS4 Slim, a lot of games don't even play in native 1080p. They're still playing at that 900p 30 sub. It's unfortunate. You look at a game like Crash Bandicoot. Crash Bandicoot only plays at, it does play in native 1080p, but it does not play in 60 frames per second. That game only plays in 30 frames per second. So you can see that our hardware we're currently using on the current consoles is outdated to today's standards. Of course, PC specs or PC GPUs are always going to be ahead of the curve. They're always going to be ahead up of what the consoles are going to do. So you can't really compare it to the consoles. Consoles are always going to be behind the curve. That's just how it's going to be. Now, what I want to talk about is getting back to the PS5. I want to talk about, when do we think we're getting the PS5? Are we going to be getting it in the next couple of years? Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we got it in the next couple of years. Why do I think we're going to be getting it in the next couple of years? Well, because they do want to compete with Microsoft, and if Microsoft's making the most powerful console ever made on planet Earth, the Xbox One X, then they're going to have to come back. Because as we know, the PS4 Pro is just a half step, so it's not really a true new console. It's just a half step. But again, I can see them being like 2019 or 2020. Why? Because think about it. The PS4, PS4 Pro, and PS4 Slim, the whole PS4 consoles are not even that old of systems. They're only about 5 or 6 years old at this very moment, and that's not old for a console. If you look at other consoles like the Wii U, of course, it had a bad lifespan, so of course it died very, very early. But if you look at Xbox 360, PS3, that had a very long and healthy lifespan. So you can see consoles last a long time. And also, taking in consideration, if you think about how many people are upgrading to 4K TVs, there's more and more people heating up to the 4K race. They're getting 4K TVs, but still not a majority of people own 4K TVs yet. People who have 1080p TVs are fine with their 1080p TVs because, if we're being 100% honest, outside of a tech junkie, 1080p looks absolutely fine. You don't need the latest and greatest. Yes, 4K is obviously going to be better. It's going to double your resolution. It's going to be more crispier. But when it comes to games on PS4 and Xbox One, the current ones, even PS4 Pro, if you look at them, whether they be 1080p, whether they be 900p, 30 frames per second, people are generally happy with what they got. And how much more can we keep going up in technology to where graphics become irrelevant? The problem is, if the PS5 is just going to be a graphical update to what we already have, is it going to be worth it in the long run? Because a lot of people will say, I don't really care about 4K, I'll just keep holding out until 4K TVs become cheaper. And to make a true console that's really going to take full advantage of 4K and be a monster, even Microsoft keeps claiming, like I said before in this video, that the Xbox One X is going to play in native 4K. It's probably a lie. At $500, I just don't think so. And with the next PS5, I don't think we're going to be getting true 4K, native 4K. We could be getting true 4K box, but then again, even what's the point? Like I said, most people are okay with the current gen consoles, and there's really no reason for consoles. I mean, I'm not saying consoles are irrelevant in 2017, but it looks like as time goes on, we're in this stage now where consoles are becoming less relevant than what they used to be, because it's not as big as a deal. Like, for instance, like 2 gens ago, we had the PS2, Xbox, PS2, original Xbox, and we had the GameCube, right? And then we jumped up to the 360 and PS3 era, and people were like, oh my god, HD. I was one of those people too that was blown away by HD. But then moving up to the PS4 and Xbox One systems, I was not really blown away because I've already seen HD for the first time. Going from 720p to 1080p is a bump in resolution, of course. So obviously it's always going to be better when you're bumping up the resolution. But for a lot of people, their eyes aren't that good, or they just don't care. It wasn't that much of an improvement. And that's what I'm afraid of. Is a PS5, is a new Xbox even worth it, even for 4K? Because graphics are becoming so relevant. When is the next time that we're not going to have more console generations? Because what else can they do with the current the generations after moving on? They can keep updating in 4K, 8K, 12K, but is it even really necessary? One thing I would like to see is in the next console, when the PS5 rolls around, I would like to see them do something that's totally different than a traditional console, or do something different than a PC. Because even though consoles, in my opinion, are becoming less relevant just because just all they're doing is really upgrading the graphics, and graphics are becoming almost irrelevant at this point. We already know graphics are the best they can be, and they're looking fantastic. I think what they should do, in my opinion, is take on Nintendo's approach. Ever since after the GameCube, Nintendo has taken on this approach to where they want to make gaming unusual. They want to change up the gaming scene. They want to try different things. You know, with the Wii, they had the Wiimote, which was motion control, which no one ever did. And then you can see the competition really copied them. They really copied them. For instance, Microsoft had the Kinect, which we all know the Kinect was a big failure for the most part. Yes, we had one on 360, and then they retried it again with the Xbox One, the original, the base model, and now it's dead. And for the most part, there wasn't even a lot of games for that system. But you can see when Nintendo does stuff, a lot of the times the competition copies. Is it a bad thing that companies in general copy each other, whether it be in the gaming industry, cell phone industry, computer industry? No, I actually think it's a good thing. That means more better products for the consumer. So you shouldn't always say, hey, this company's copying this company, you're doing a shady job. No, it's actually good for the consumers. So if they can improve on what Nintendo does and make a better motion controlled gaming box or motion controlled games, then I'm all for that if it becomes better. And then of course PS3, as you know, copied Nintendo. When the Wii came out, they actually had a very good idea. They had those motion controlled controllers just like the Wii. They had a little ball on top, and they still use those today with the PSVR, and those work quite well. So you can see they copied. And then besides that, Nintendo stepped it up again with the Wii U. Of course, the Wii U was a failure, but they tried a new gimmick to where you can play the games off screen and you can play them around the house. Sure, you were limited in range and whatnot, but it was still cool. You didn't have to always stay in front of your TV. And now we got the full experience with the Nintendo Switch. So maybe when the PS5 comes out, for instance, they'll see, oh my god, Nintendo is so successful, or maybe not so successful. Hopefully Nintendo becomes super successful by the time the PS5 comes out, and then Sony's going to be like, I can see everybody loving this whole hybrid console / handheld gimmick. Let's make the next PS5 a hybrid system. Why would it be good? Because right now, if you know, the Nintendo Switch has a lot of good games. It's selling really well. But the thing is, though, when it comes to AAA support or third-party AAA support, it's lacking in that area specifically. So if PlayStation were to make a hybrid system, then we would be getting really good AAA third-party games on the go. Sure, you can take your laptop around, and also you can do other means to have AAA third-party games on the go, but at this very moment, it's not the same as having a dedicated handheld in your pocket like the Nintendo Switch. Sure, the Nintendo Switch, of course, is not a dedicated pocketable handheld, but it is still a portable handheld. And if Sony were to copy them, that would actually be good, because then we'd be getting all these AAA third-party games. We'd be getting the Battlefields, the Call of Duties, the true NBA 2K, Madden. We would be getting Uncharted. We would be getting all these flat-out fantastic games that we know are never in 100 million years, no matter how you look at it, are never coming to the Nintendo Switch. What I'm basically saying before I end the video, I'm basically saying is, if the PS5 comes out, I hope that there's actually a point to it, instead of them just revamping the interface and just saying, well, we're giving it more power. Actually, the rumor is right now with the PS5 is it's only going to be a half step up from what the PS4 Pro is. Honestly, if that's just the case, I'm kind of disappointed. But then again, if they were to make a powerful console, even the Xbox One X is the most powerful console on the market to date. The good news is maybe by then virtual reality will actually catch on. I'm not saying that people don't use virtual reality right now, but it's not like flying off the shelf. There's not a lot of games being produced for those, whether it be PlayStation VR, whether it be HTC Vive, or whether it be Oculus Rift. It's not really catching the mainstream, and it's not blowing everyone out the water, and they're not selling millions and millions of units, and it's not becoming a mainstream thing. I don't even think if they ever made a PS5 or the new Xbox One X, honestly, I don't think virtual reality is going to be mainstream for a very long time. That's a really big, bold prediction to go off of, but I don't think virtual reality is going to take out mainstream gaming, whether it be PC, handheld, consoles, even tablets or cell phones. I just don't see virtual reality really taking out anything for the most part, because you need a very beastly console. Even with the current PS4 and the PS4 Pro, it can do VR, but can it do it well compared to a PC? You really need a very power-hungry unit to actually take full advantage of VR. A lot of people said VR on the current PS4 and PS4 Pro is not 100% the best. It's a little bit grainy. You can notice the grain when you're actually playing it. Even on the PS4 Pro, it is better, but not by a lot. It's not a million times better. So what I'm just saying is, hopefully there's a point to the PS5. Of course, what it really boils down to is, are the games going to be enough for people to buy the PS5? Even if they just show 4K, is 4K enough anymore to say, well, a 4K? Because let's look at it again. 1080p is standard, pretty much 900p, 1080p. Even 900p is very crispy, 1080p. So if they're just going to be taunting around, oh, we got true 4K, even Xbox One X, we got true 4K, is it going to be enough to sell the mainstream masses? And more games are going to have to look even better, not besides just the fidelity or the graphics. The worlds that we live in when it comes to gaming, like for instance, Grand Theft Auto, a new Elder Scrolls game, new Fallout, things like that, Far Cry. How much bigger, how much better, how much more realistic, and what would really sell, in my opinion, for me, I'm not saying for the mainstream masses, because of course I don't think everyone might not catch on to it, but going back to my whole VR thing, what I'm thinking is every single AAA game, maybe next gen, which we're probably not going to get at all, because like I said before in the video, VR is very power hungry. It needs a very beastly console, and if Sony, like the rumor said, is only making a half step up of the PS4 Pro, then we're pretty much screwed on that front. But what would be cool was if every AAA or triple A, whether it be first party or third party title coming out next gen. I don't know if Microsoft is claiming this is no, I think Microsoft is saying the Xbox One X is still part of the Xbox One family, which is kind of dumb because this is pretty much a new console from Microsoft. It's having all that power. They might as well claim it as a new console. Why even call it the Xbox One X? They might as well just call it like the Xbox 2, the Xbox 362, something like that, in my opinion, if they're claiming it's the most powerful console of all time. But what I'm saying is every new game coming out next gen should incorporate VR to the main game. So we're playing Grand Theft Auto, we're playing Far Cry, Fallout, we're playing all these AAA games, and we're having VR support. Then I would be on board. But they're going to have to show us some title and some reason to get on the board. Honestly, for me, before I head out of this video, I think it's a little bit way too early for them to be releasing a new console, in my opinion. Would I like a new console? Of course. Anytime there's new technology, it gets everyone excited. It gets the industry hyped. It gets people wanting to buy a new system. It helps the companies out. It helps the society out, everything. It gets everyone excited. But I just don't think this is the perfect time. I think, honestly, if you were to ask me right now in 2017, the PS4 Pro, PS4 Slim, Xbox One, Xbox One X, Xbox One X, Xbox One S, I personally, in my opinion, think it's okay, and we can live without a new generation coming anytime soon. I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference. But then again, you never know what's behind the scenes with Microsoft and with Sony. They could definitely blow us out the water, especially if there's a PS5 coming in, let's say 2019 or 2018. Most likely, it's not coming next year. Let's all be honest with that. That rumor is a bullshit lie. I'm sorry to cuss. I usually don't cuss on stream, but I mean on my videos, but let's be honest, that's not coming. They could next year announce it and say, yep, it's coming at the end of 2018, but I highly doubt it, especially since they just released the PS4 Pro. I don't see why they would want to backstab all their customers, because that only been out on the market. Even it would only be on the market about a year and a half by next E3, so I don't think they want to do that at all. But you never know what's around the corner. The only thing I don't think why VR is going to be mainstream enough next gen is because if that rumor is true again about the PS5 being only a half step, then we're screwed. There's no way we're getting PSVR support. We're not going to get better PSVR support. So my whole thing about all the AAA games getting VR support, like Grand Theft Auto, Far Cry, Fallout, Call of Duty, etc., Battlefield, I don't think that's going to happen even next gen. I think we're like ways away from VR becoming mainstream and VR becoming that amazing experience everybody wants. Right now it's okay, but it's nothing flat out amazing to where you're going like, oh my god, I need VR. I really feel like I'm in a new world. I don't think that's the case. I think it's going to be somewhere around somewhere beyond 2020. Let's be honest. In my opinion, I think it's going to be 2025, maybe even 2030 before this thing actually kicks off and before we see massive VR games coming out, because right now VR games are not flooding the market. We get a couple here and there, like the new Skyrim coming out for the PlayStation VR. That's cool, but we're not getting titles all the time. We're not getting a lot of them, so that would be cool, but I don't think we're ready for that. Those are just my opinions on some of the PlayStation 5 rumors currently circulating around on the internet. Anyway, guys, peace out. I'll see you guys later in my next video. I'm out, guys.